So when this podcast goes out, it will actually be our 4th business birthday.
Oh, amazing.
Exactly. I always say to people, like, if you want to start with refilling, pick one thing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's your washing up liquid that you then refill, because that's probably actually the biggest environmental impact you can have.
Yeah.
To just be reusing your washing up liquid and choosing a eco-friendly alternative.
How have you found it being part of like the kind of business community in Leighton Buzzard?
I'd actually say it's changed my life.
Oh.
So this week on the podcast, I chat to Heni, who runs the Refill shop in town. The Refill are celebrating their 4th business anniversary this week, and it was absolutely lovely to chat to her about setting up a business in Leighton Buzzard and how it's been for her.
So welcome back to the Leighton Buzzard Local podcast. Today I'm here with Heni, who runs the Refill shop in town. So Heni, hi, nice to have you.
Hi, thank you for having me. Very exciting to be here.
Yeah. So first up on the podcast, I always ask people, if I lived in Leighton Buzzard, like, what do you do? How can I find you? Those kind of things.
So if you live in Leighton Buzzard, I run the Refill shop, so you can find me in person at the Refill, which is just on Friday Street opposite Waitrose. And then you can find us there Tuesdays through to Saturdays. You can also find us online. We have therefill.co.uk is our website, with our new online shop launching soon.
Oh,
very exciting.
Very exciting.
And the best place to kind of get hold of me online is Instagram, which is therefill.leightonbuzzard, where we share all kinds of inspiration about our products, sustainability tips, things like that.
Yeah.
So.
And what sort of things, if I was coming into the Refill, what sort of things do you stock? And how does it all work?
So I know it can be a bit of a weird, intimidating concept, but essentially with the Refill, we are a plastic-free shop. So you bring your own containers. We're not fussy what kind. I have had gin bottles, celebration tubs,
Ooh.
ice cream tubs, biscuit tins.
I'm intrigued. What did they put in a gin bottle? I have to ask.
So say you bring in a gin bottle, you weigh the bottle on our scales, you write down the weight, and then you go fill it up with, say, washing up liquid or laundry liquid.
Yeah,
so
that makes more sense now. Yeah.
Sadly, we don't have gin. But and then you can fill up with as much or as little as you like, and you just pay for the weight of the product.
Yeah.
So the idea is to just really encourage reusing as much of the packaging that already exists that you have.
Yeah.
And also to give you control of how much you want to spend on your shop, because you can just buy what you need as and when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I was kind of first aware of the Refill like way back when. I don't know how long you've been going now, but you used to, a long time ago, didn't you? Started off in the rec rooms, in the recreation rooms. Was that the beginning of the Refill, or was that a little bit further along?
So it's quite exciting. So when this podcast goes out, it will actually be our 4th business birthday.
Oh, amazing.
Exactly. And so I started the Refill in 2020, about in May 2020, and I started doing market stalls and like pop-ups in little like community spaces. So I think Woburn Farmers Market was my very first market. And I'd never done a market stall before, and I forgot to bring tables and I forgot to bring a gazebo.
Okay.
Because I'd been doing so many applications for markets when I first started, I forgot.
Yeah.
So I had to like turn over these like crates to make a makeshift table, and it worked. And then from there, I've learned a lot. And I did pop-up stalls in. At that time, I couldn't get a consistent stall on Leighton Buzzard Market with COVID. It would kind of expand and there wasn't space. And then weirdly, whenever we had a lockdown, because food was essential, I could get a space on the market.
Yeah.
So I'd have Leighton Buzzard Market, Dunstable Market, and then I was doing pop-ups in, say, the rec rooms. I used to go out to the villages as well,
cool.
Great Brickhill, Stukely. I had a van for a while as well, so I literally like trundle around in my
the van. Yeah, that's really cool.
Trundle around in my van, and so that was really much trying to. And I think that was a brilliant way to start as a business, because I was taking it to places that people already knew in terms of a pop-up style, and I don't think it was very intimidating. I only had like maybe 50 products at that time, of like lentils, some pasta.
50 sounds like so many. How many do you think you have in the shop now then?
500.
Oh my goodness.
500 like lines of product. Yeah, I literally did that the other day.
Okay, cool. So 50 is smaller.
It was still a lot to unload though at that time, like, because you'd have to unload it and like make the stall nice every time, and then you never really knew how many customers you were going to get. Like you could get like 3, or you could get like 20 or 30. But it was really, really nice to start building that community in COVID, because I think people really liked coming out for something to do in that way. It was quite exciting, a new way of doing things. So, yeah.
Oh no, that's really cool. And then so after that you were in the shop, is it AR Reid?
AF Reid.
AF Reid, which is now the workshop. So Happydashery have that now.
Yeah. So I was doing really well on Leighton Buzzard Market. Like we'd have queues. It was always my busiest market. And one of my customers had a connection with AF Reid and said, would you like a shop one day? And I was like, yeah, I'd love a shop one day. It would be great. Like, to expand. She's like, no, do you want the shop down the road?
No, this shop.
This shop. And I'd grown up in Leighton Buzzard. So I knew the shop really well. And I'd always walked past it thinking, it would be so gorgeous. I'd love that. It'd be so gorgeous. And then somebody's offering it to you on a plate. And I was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is too much. This is too big. I don't know how to run a business. I don't know. Like, I'd have to have staff. I don't know how to do that. I had real imposter panic syndrome.
Yeah.
And I went and looked around it and I thought, no, I can't do this. I'm just going to stick with my markets. And then we had a really terrible March. The weather was horrible. I think I remember it snowed, it rained. And I was on the market stall and I thought, what have I done?
I don't want to. You're like, being indoors seems like really cool right now.
I was like, I really want to be inside and not having to be unloading and reloading the van. And so I thought I'll just do a pop-up in the shop. That was for our first birthday. We did a pop-up in the shop. And I was like, I'll see how it goes. We had a queue round the corner.
Wow.
It was amazing. We had a queue. I'd set it up. It was quite rustic in the old shop because before it had all its refurb. It was very, very old. It had real character. But we had a queue going round the corner up to Waterbourne Walk.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is just amazing that people really want this concept. Like, more people than I realized wanted this concept of being able to shop without single-use plastic packaging. And so after that I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And we set up, we opened AF Reid as a shop in June, and kind of gradually we're finding our feet with that. And I was still doing a few markets at the time, so we had limited opening hours in the shop. I'd go off and do markets, and then eventually had Holly, who's still with me. Holly joined me, and so she took on doing Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we just expanded from there and really tried to kind of build that customer base. And we were there until we opened the bigger shop last year in April 2023.
Oh, so it's a year more or less.
It's more
than a year.
Yeah, just more than a year.
So
since
4 years in business and also a year in your current shop.
In my current shop,
cool.
Which was, again, we'd kind of reached the limit of what we could do in Reid's, because that space was quite tiny for us. And so you could only really have 2 customers in the shop at a time, and we were self-serving for customers.
Yeah.
Which was a really brilliant community building way of building it. I definitely think that was an amazing way for us to do it, going market stall and then serving for customers, because you get to build those conversations. But we were also like, well, we can't expand any further because we can't do any more. And then I saw the current shop in January, February time. And again, I was like, oh, I'll just go and have a little look and see. I bet it's already rented, because rental space is really hard to come by in Leighton Buzzard. And I spoke to them, and they said, oh, well, somebody's got their eye on it, but, and I tracked down who the landlord was. And I messaged the landlord. I was like, I want this shop, because I walked in there and I could see it as it is now.
Yeah.
And I could see the containers along the wall. I could see us having kind of a table and how it would all be set out. And I just knew, when you get that heart attack feeling of this is so exciting. Yeah. It's terrifying. Yeah. But I have to do this. And so, landlord then agreed, and I was like, well, I've got to raise some money. So we sold the van and did a crowdfund, and the crowdfund went it was incredible. Yeah. You think, oh, I might be able to raise £1,000 for this, and then I'll work out the rest. I think we raised £8,000 in the end, which just really help with the kind of, because the equipment of everything and that kind of stock buy-in for bigger premises, there's a lot goes into it. So yeah, that was incredible, that support, and we've really felt that support continue coming through as well. So
so you were saying, obviously you started off with like 50 different lines and now you have 500. So what is it that you can do in the new shop that you've kind of added that you couldn't do before?
So yeah, we stock about 500 products. We stock everything from rice, lentils, nuts, dried fruits, herbs, spices, teas, coffee. Our most popular being things like the sweet snacks, like chocolate honeycomb.
Oh, I was super addicted. The honeycomb is amazing. And I was super addicted to those like hazelnut filled Easter egg hearts you had. Oh my God, they were great.
I know. I was like, do I keep them as a permanent thing? But then I was like, no, I'm going to keep them as like a Easter treat because they were so good. So we've really expanded the snack range and we really expanded the cleaning range as well because we've got more space to do that. So, but in some ways I'm like, I think it's snacks probably that I've expanded more on because we had the space to do that's like chocolate covered sweets and crisps and all the healthy stuff. But then some other things as well, like breakfast cereals are actually quite popular. So things like cornflakes and like mueslis and granolas we've expanded on as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. And like you said, the sweet stuff goes really well. What do you think there's like, do people come in for most of their weekly shop or a bit of this and that, or do you think it's a mix?
We get such a range of customers, which I really love, because we get people that are coming in. They have like consistent. I always say to people, like, if you want to start with refilling, pick one thing. Yeah. Like maybe it's your washing up liquid that you then refill, because that's probably actually the biggest environmental impact you can have. Yeah. To just be reusing your washing up liquid and choosing a eco-friendly alternative. So we get some people that are like, that's their routine, they're committed, it's every Tuesday, and I love that. We get your snacky people who do come in for their like after school snacks or just kind of like refilling during the day, and they're kind of like, they'll mix it up on like what they're doing. And then we get people that do bigger shops as well. And kind of the more they get into it, they've kind of been doing it for a while, and they'll come and do like one big shop like every 2 weeks or maybe a month. Yeah. Which I really love as well. So yeah, a lot of different types of people.
Well, I know what you mean about starting slow, because I haven't been to the shop for a long time, and I don't think I'd been in it since you moved. And I came in recently and sort of, like you say, like picked up something like a snack, and then I was at home and my partner made a granola, and literally like I was like, do we have any nuts left? No, nothing left in the house. Okay, fine. So I was like, well, brilliant. Like now I know how to do it. I know that I can go in. I know how it all works. I can just come in, and then it was more like next time round it was more about, oh, actually you stock this, oh, actually you stock this, and you have oat milk as well.
Yeah, we have oat milk as well. That's really popular because again, you can get the quantity that you want, and we do, because we do everything via grams. We do price match on the kind of milliliters to grams for oat milk in the supermarket at the moment. It's the Minor Figures brand for that one. And people coming in to do like their own recipes and mixes of granola is really popular. So things like, I'd say like nuts. The nuts are potentially our most popular products. Again, because we try and sell organic as far as possible, and we do price match for organic or like undercut in terms of organic pricing compared to supermarkets. So people that are really into their like nuts and dried fruits and wanting to make granola, oats, we have to have in massive bins. We sell them so quickly. So yeah, definitely people that want to, like foodies that want to experiment kind of a little bit as well. You get that kind of flexibility, which is nice. Yeah.
And how have you found, like when you were talking about going into the shop, you were saying, you know, you've grown up in Leighton Buzzard and you remembered the shop, but how have you found it being part of like the kind of business community in Leighton Buzzard?
I'd actually say it's changed my life. Oh. Yeah, I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but like I did grow up in Leighton Buzzard, and like when you're a teenager, like, oh, I just want to get out of here, like I want to go and be in the city. And I went and lived in like I went to University of Manchester, I lived in San Diego, Brussels, Paris. Like I've lived in a lot of these big cities, and London even. And whilst they're really great experiences, I think I always felt a bit, you know, cut off or isolated, or you're kind of just a bit lost in those places. And then it was because I moved back to Leighton Buzzard just before the pandemic. My dad was going through chemo at the time for pancreatic cancer, and he's okay now. I always have to remember to put this at the front of the story. And so I ended up staying and kind of helping him through that. And then that was kind of what really kickstarted me wanting to kind of do the business anyway, because I got really into food and really into sustainability of like, how food impacts our health, how we get access to healthy food, how can you have more conversations around it. And then watching the pandemic and being like, I need to do something about like, what can I do for the environment and making an impact. And so then starting the business in that way, and then starting to connect with people, like customers that were equally passionate about the same thing, and then connecting with the business community. I just love it so much, because you can walk down the street and it's just like seeing friendly faces. It's being really connected to things that are going on in events, because if I have an event, people are coming to it. If someone else is having an event, like, and you want to go to it, it's sharing those conversations around small business and like the stresses, especially with the small business community. Like, we're sharing stresses of like things that are going on, and successes and wins as well. And then I think with my customers, what I love the most is like, I know what's going on in their lives as well. Like, I've been through them with like, from job changes to their kids' first day at school, to like somebody getting married, like those big things, but also the little things when they get really excited about trying a new recipe, like, or they've just gone gluten-free. Or so to me, I'm so passionate about like small, like Leighton Buzzard's not that small anymore.
No, I think that's, we're growing. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, we're growing so much, and there's just such a vibrant scene of like creatives who are making art and making their kind of, whichever form that is, creativity, or like Buzz Cinema as well that we're involved in, like the film festival that we've got, or as I say, small businesses like selling independent stuff and all of those things. So I think it's such a wonderful atmosphere to be a part of.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think one of the things when I think about the account, like the Instagram and stuff like that, for me, is that we are a growing town. And actually what I want, and I do get messages from people who are like, we recently moved here and I found these things for your account. And I love that, because I think, well, that's what I want. We're adding all these houses and we need people to be part of, everybody talks about how great Leighton Buzzard is as a community. We need to add people to our community and give them reasons to come into town. And I think there's so many small businesses in town that are doing that, yours included. So you mentioned events locally. You've got both your business birthday and there's Big Green Week coming up. Have you got anything planned for either of those?
Have ideas, but I haven't got actual plans yet.
Okay.
I think
watch this space.
I think the reality, like, and hopefully maybe this is really relatable to other business owners, of like, you do always have these ideas, but trying to get the time to juggle everything to make them happen. So with the birthday, I think if people follow us on Instagram, I will be announcing some birthday goodies on there. So watch that space there. And we're going to be doing something around, launching the online shop is a really big thing for us. So you can see all of our products online. Yeah. And then with Green Week, again, we've got a couple of ideas in the works. Like last year we did planting up. So a big passion project for mine is to actually put planters around the outside of the shop.
Oh, cool.
And get kids involved with planting seeds up, so they can see like fruits and veggies like being grown in their hometown when they walk through it. So something in Green Week will be probably not that full scale, but working on that a little bit. Maybe just even getting like some little seeds planted up for kids is something I really want to do.
Oh, that sounds really good. And also because I think I saw something announced recently, because they're gearing up to do all the planting for Leighton in Bloom as well. So that would be lovely to have something else outside the shop as well.
Yeah, and I really want to encourage people to just thinking of that connection. If anyone's got any kind of like sustainability community related event, to let me know and we can put it in the shop, because I really want to get that community of people caring about the environment together. Because I say, like you said earlier about people seeing your stuff, I've discovered so many like new businesses and things from watching your account as well. And I just think the more we can shout about it across and collaborate. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think coming back to you talking about the business community, that's one of the things that I think is so great about the business community. Is actually one of the things I always want to share on the account is when people go to small businesses themselves. But what I find is the majority of the time, it's small businesses who are going to other small businesses and then sharing about it. And I'm like, well, that's brilliant. Like, that's exactly what you need. And I think it really encourages other people to do the same. So no, that's great. That all sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, Heni.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a really nice chat. Yeah.
No, it's great. And yeah, remind everybody where to find you because everyone's going to want to know about your birthday bash.
Yeah, so we will be putting everything about our birthday bash and Great Big Green Week on our Instagram, which is therefill.leightonbuzzard.
Perfect.
Great.
It was great to chat to Heni, and if you do end up at the Refill for their birthday bash, then do tag me so I can share it on the account as well. If this is the first episode of the podcast you've listened to, there are other episodes out there with other small businesses, so check them out wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube and YouTube Music.